Okay, considering I already did a review for the 2017 Punisher series starring John Bad Motherfucker Bernthal, I thought I'd go back and review the previous films, starting off with my personal favorite, the 2004 movie starring Tom Jane and John Travolta. Okay, so here's the setup for the film. John Travolta plays our antagonist Howard Saint, and his son goes on an illegal gun deal and gets himself killed. Tom Jane is playing our protagonist Frank Castle, and Frank Castle is an undercover agent that was involved with the sting. Unfortunately for him, Howard Saint quickly finds out who he is and blames him for the death of his son, Bobby Saint. Okay, still with me? Oh, and by the way, Bobby has a twin brother played by the same actor. See? No mustache. Just thought I'd let you know. Easy enough, right? So, in retaliation, Howard Saint orders Frank Castle's family killed. Well, actually, he didn't order them killed. His wife did.
He's at a family reunion in Puerto Rico.
So you can come back and tell Livia how he died.
Wait. His whole family.
Wow. I mean, what a cold-hearted bitch, right? Well, this moment in the movie is very important because without this, we wouldn't have a movie. This is the event that leads to the birth of The Punisher. Pretty interesting. Anyway, so we catch up with Frank in Puerto Rico, enjoying his family reunion, and they do a really good job of showing how much his family really means to him in such a short amount of time, so that when he does lose them, we really feel his loss. It's such a universal theme, and something that's really easy to connect with. Everybody knows how they would feel if someone in their family was killed. Maybe not all of us would strap on a bulletproof vest and go gun down everybody that's responsible, but we kind of get to place ourselves in Frank's shoes and how we would really want to react if we were ever put in that position ourselves. When Frank discovers the lifeless bodies of his wife and son, it's a very powerful scene, and they do a tremendous job of showing you his agony. Now, after Howard's goons leave Frank for dead, he obviously recovers. What I didn't like about this is they sped through his recovery pretty quickly, and I think they had filmed more on this, but they probably cut it to save time. The movie could have benefited from letting us see him determined to get back on his feet. Not too much, but enough to let the death of his family linger, because it just jumps to him having an apartment in the city, and it's pretty jarring. But this is where we meet Frank's neighbors. I've heard a lot of criticism about them and how they affect the tone of the movie, but I actually enjoy them, and they are characters from the comic book series. I think they bring some much needed comic relief to an otherwise serious movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin the relationship for you, so I'll just move on. What I do want to say is I really enjoyed the fan service. I mean, you get a few villains from the comic books that I never thought we'd see on screen, like Harry Heck and the Russian. Kevin Nash plays the Russian and he's perfect. I can't imagine anyone else that could embody him. It's like they ripped him straight out of the comics, and their fight scene is amazing. I actually like the action in this movie, and I've heard it also criticized, and understandably so. It is toned down from what the character and comic books entail. Unfortunately, it's rated PG-13. There's no way a studio would have taken the risk of making this movie rated R, especially at this time, because of the relatively unknown character of the Punisher, and comic book movies were not as established as they are today. So it does suffer a little bit for this, but I do find the action is pretty good anyways, and still manages to be pretty brutal despite its limitations. But what I really enjoy about this film is that Howard Saint and Frank Castle's motivations are exactly the same. They both lost members of their family, and they both want retribution. This shows symmetry in the storytelling. And Frank goes after Howard Saint with everything he's got. He hits him where it hurts, and he breaks him down systematically, which makes sense because he is a military veteran, and you'd expect him to be tactical in his approach. Another thing I want to talk about is the score and the soundtrack to this movie. I don't know who performed the score, but it's absolutely terrific. It still resonates with me, and anytime I hear the song Broken by Seether on the radio, it brings me back to this movie. Almost everybody gives a strong performance in this movie. Tom Jane is incredible as the Punisher. Will Patton, who plays Howard Saint's right-hand man, is also great. And Rebecca Romijn is pretty good as Joan. Bumble, played by the late John Panette, was pretty comical. And Ben Foster as Spacker Dave was a perfect casting. Now, John Travolta's performance is spotty at best. Sometimes he's good.
He's daring us.
No. He misses his family and he wants to die. He's asking for help, so let's help him.
Other times, not so much. He does this weird thing where he doesn't move his lips when he speaks. I guess a character choice to show that he's holding in anger, but it's weird.
Little Cuba? Just think, first time I saw you was only 3 blocks from here.
But anyway, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, guys, and I'm giving it an A+. What are you gonna do about it? It's my channel. Alright. To be fair, with the toned-down violence and PG-13 rating and the strange performance from John Travolta, I'm gonna go ahead and give this film an A-. Now, I know most of you are probably thinking I'm being biased. Well, I am. I love this movie, and I hope you guys check it out if you haven't already. And if you have checked it out, maybe you'll find a new appreciation for it. I really think that this is a movie that's under-recognized and underappreciated. Alright guys, that's the takeaway, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.
But in time, your time will be no